right. So we are live, and at least on Facebook and YouTube. Now we should be going live on Instagram. Come on, IG. Now I know I pressed go live. I'm gonna press it one more time and see what happens.
You know
All
how
right,
it is.
we are live on IG, Facebook, and
Okay.
Instagram. So,
Yeah, I just got the pop up saying that we are
uh-huh.
live
Awesome,
on Facebook.
awesome.
Oh, I just
So,
got it too.
I know, right? So let me make sure we are live in the Facebook group. I think
I
we
think we
are.
are.
Okay. Let me go in the group.
Well, if y'all see us, say hi, because I can't
I know,
see
right?
you. What they say, if you see me, I can't see you. But if you see me, see you,
Not see
whatever
me,
that
see
is.
you. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm in here.
See me, see you.
Girl, I
Mhm.
tell you the
Yes.
truth. I am here somewhere in the group. I'm trying to see if I can see, you know how Facebook does. It really acts up. So,
I see
hello.
three peoples. Three people.
Hello. I can't
Hey,
see y'all
y'all.
right now. Hey, three people.
Hey, okay, we up to four. Okay, okay.
Hey,
Hey,
three
y'all.
people. So I know we are doing something right somewhere. I just
Yeah.
can't see the good people, but
Okay,
we are.
Michelle Simpson Page said, hello there. Hello
Hello
there.
there,
Hey.
Michelle.
Hi,
Thank you for
Michelle.
joining us. You guys come on in. Come on in. We are about to get started. We're gonna have to make sure that we are going on all cylinders. Crystal, I am definitely going to invest in getting us an engineer.
Oh, we fancy then. Oh,
For these
we
lives.
look. I might have to go get me a wardrobe.
Ah,
Well, no, that's just
Hey,
the reason to
Boogie
shop. That's just the reason
Siobhan.
to shop.
yes.
Hello,
We can
hello,
always use a
hello.
reason.
Yes, yes.
Hello, hello, everyone. I'm posting on IG now, as we do have some people joining over there. All right, cool. All right, then. Well, you know what? I will definitely, we can go ahead and get started because I don't want to prolong it too much longer because we got to get into everything. Let me pull up
Yes, we do.
my nifty notes here.
Uh-oh.
Look, I got mine ready.
My
I'm
Oh,
ready.
nifty notes.
I promise you, it won't be bad because I thoroughly enjoyed this book.
oh, thank
Hmm.
you.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed this book.
I'm
So
excited
you,
to hear that.
I know I did too as well. So you guys, come on in, Facebook, hey, YouTube, you over there going too. All right, got y'all going. All right, so Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, we are live. Well, I am your host, Untamed author, producer, podcaster, and Crystal and her roommate,
My grandpup.
Erica, her
I don't know how
grandpa.
she got in here, but she made her way.
Oh, she's cute.
She's crazy.
Her grandpa is joining us here on the live tonight. And we are
That's all you get.
also joined by the lovely Miss Candice Y. Johnson, author of Every Black Girl Dances. How are
Hello.
you, Candice?
I am great and so excited to be here. Thank y'all so much for having me. This is awesome.
You are welcome. When we were how it came about is that we try to sometimes do things, if we can. And so this is Women's Month. And what better way to celebrate women than with every black girl dances?
I love
Just
it.
like
I
I
love
said,
it.
every black girl should read this. Really.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I want to first give a shout out to all of our sponsors and our supporters who consistently show love and give us a little jiggle, jiggle, and fold, fold kind of money. So make Major shouts out to Kiana Danae, EXO, JC, KB's Bookshelf, Tyler Landscaping, Jones Pressure Washer and Lawn Care, and me and my son Lawn Care. And we are presented by Untamed Publishing. Allow us to help you unlock your unlimited writing potential. If you are aspiring new or even a seasoned author and you need help along your literary journey, there are a plethora of services available to assist you, such as synopsis writing, editing, proofreading, and many, many more. Just visit www.untamedpublishing.net. All right. Well, Candice, we introed you in, but for people who don't know you, we're going to read your bio and let them know a little bit more about who you are. So I will let Crystal do the honors because she loves to do the greeting, and I love when she does it.
All right. So, Candice Y. Johnson. And I'm going to say the little Candice Y. Johnson. And that's a question we got later. So you'll know why I said that. Okay. So, AKA Ordered Steps is an Emmy award winning choreographer, dancer, author, editor, speaker, independent filmmaker, and playwright. In addition to her many honors, including a Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Inc. Dallas Alumni Chapter's 2022 Women of Excellence in the Arts honoree, Candice is a 2023 DFW Gospel Literary Award winner, 2023 Texas Gospel Music Excellence Dance Director of the Year, and is also being presented with Dance Ministry Magazine's 2023 Dance Icon and Literary Pen Award. Most recently, Candice's article, Picture Me, was featured on the prestigious Mahogany Hallmark website. As she gears up for the national release of her latest book, Every Black Girl Dances, Candice continues dancing across the keyboard to bring more stories of humor, heartbreak, and hope to the page. Candice Y. Johnson, welcome to the UP Hot Seat. How are you this evening?
I'm good, and thank you so much. Just listening to that, I'm like, wow.
I
Is
Yes,
that me?
know.
you have a
Yes. When I
beautiful
read it,
bio.
I was just like, oh, she bomb. Like,
Oh,
Hmm.
yes, yes, I loved it.
You have a beautiful, beautiful bio. And hello, everybody in Facebook. If you're not logged in, we can't see your name, so it just says Facebook user. But this is
Yes.
very interesting. Someone said, "Are you the author of the view?" Yes, I am the author.
Yes, she is.
I am the
Yes, she is.
author. That is
Let me put you
me.
down
That
for
is
you, John.
me. So I wanted to get that question out of the way since they did drop it in the comments. But that is me. So yeah, people. I don't. I get on here to honor everybody else. I don't, get try to talk about me because I'm not important in this moment. I think I
oh,
so.
yes, you are.
So I want to, and I like to dive into their books, especially when we're talking about book of the month discussion. Now, y'all know with book of the month, those of you who are here, y'all know this is the time when we really get it in. So if you have not read the book, here is your, and you don't like spoilers, here is your time to exit stage left so that you don't hear anything
Because I'm about to
that you
give some
shouldn't hear.
spoilers.
Uh-oh.
Crystal is definitely gonna get some spoilers, okay? Because she got questions, and I
I
do
got
too.
questions.
I got
Asking all these
questions too.
questions.
Hello,
Yes.
hello, everyone on IG. Hello, hello, everyone on YouTube. We are going back and forth right now. So well, I am going back and forth right now. So I'm trying to catch your comments and your questions if you have any. But Candice, we are gonna dive into your good book. So I want to read the synopsis just so you guys will know what every Black Girl Dances is about. So I'll read that and then we'll jump straight into it. So,
Mm-hmm.
J.C. Burke catapulted straight from film school to Hollywood darling, churning out Black trauma films that have made her a household name. But at what price? When she abandons the set of her latest production to flee to her hometown, Parable, Texas, JC is forced to reconsider the career that made her a superstar, as well as re examine her deteriorating relationship with her producing partner, Hudson Pike. A romantic connection with high school media technology teacher Luke Favors, dubbed the hottie professor in a viral social media post. Alleviates a bit of the sting from her disappointments. But is Luke enough to keep JC away from Hollywood forever, or will she return to the privilege she turned her back on? Whew,
I
there's a
cannot stand that goddamn Hudson Pike. That when
Oh,
I'm trying to say this as nice as I possibly can, but Hudson Pike can take a long walk off a short ass pier into the swamp where they just suck all the skin off of his little blonde head, blue eyed, disgusting. Oh my
she
gosh.
cannot stand him. In other words, she can't stand Hudson
but how do you really feel about him?
I was trying to keep it clean. That was so that's as clean as I can keep it. But I can't stand his ass.
She can't
Like
stand him. She
I
when
can't
got like
I
an
stand him.
look, I
inbox
got to pull up the
messages.
book because when I say I was a highlighting sister in this book, I don't even never highlight in that this much in the book.
Listen, and to give everybody to let you guys know what book we're actually referring to, let me go ahead and pull that up really quick before we dive into it. Here is the book. Every Black Girl Dances. That is the cover for the book. I'll show it again a little bit later on, but there you go. But Candice, there is a lot to unpack in this book because you cover
So
so many
much.
facets and so
Mhm.
and it was not overkill. It was just enough. It was very perfectly packaged book,
Yes, it
but she
was.
tackled so many issues that I absolutely just adore. Now, when I get to the one question I have, I promise you, there was one part in this book that was so impactful. I literally read it and it was like, okay, I got to put this down for a day and then pick it back up because I was like,
I wanted to fight. I
I
wanted
was
to fight.
yes, I had goosebumps. I was like, you know what, I have been triggered.
Rising at that part in the book, and we're gonna talk about that part in the book. When I say I was pissed off, I was pissed off. And if I
Yes,
think anybody whose name that's their name, I might just look at them sideways and buck at them. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I but there were so many look, it was so many moments in this book that
Yes.
had me
Yes.
like, oh my, I said, listen, JC, I'm gonna need you to get your life together now because
Yeah,
oh
she
my
needed to
goodness,
get her life together. Yes,
she
He
needed to
needed
absolutely.
get
to.
she had
Yes.
to
And
get
for
her
anyone
life
who
together.
doesn't know, Hudson is JC's boyfriend.
Yes.
I don't know why, but
So
okay.
she
I mean,
said,
it
I
was
don't
cute
know
at
why.
first, but then, yeah, it was cute at first.
It
Mm-mm.
was cute at first when they went in
And when
college,
I mean
but
at first, and that mean when she met him in college, and when she just met him, that's when. And after that, and when they went out to dinner, and then after they hooked up and became a couple, it wasn't cute no more.
Yeah, it was
Mm-mm.
cute for all of 2 seconds before
All of
she
two
found out who
seconds.
he really was. Yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
But it shouldn't have taken her that long. But I digress right now. I digress right now because we not because Hudson was too much for me.
Yes, he
I got
became too
that
much
one.
for everyone, I think. But
Hmm.
I do want to start off asking you this, Candice. Now, and this is aside from the book, it's a part of the book, but aside from the book, your author name is in all lowercase, and it reminded me of Bell Hooks. So I wanted to know, why did you choose to use that format for your name?
Okay, so I am I'm a believer, but I'm not religious, if that makes sense. Like
Yes.
I believe in God, I love the Lord, but I'm not a religious person. I just have a relationship. And I've always felt like that's a way to keep me humble and show more of him and less of me because I literally cannot write without God. Like I ask him to help me write these books, literally. And that's where it comes from because he's doing the work with me. I know I can't do it on my own because if it was me, this book probably wouldn't even exist. But I'm always getting ideas from the Holy Spirit, literally. People ask, that question that authors get a lot: do you write the title first or the book first? I have
Mhm.
notebooks filled with titles and character names for books that don't exist, but it's just because my mind is always going and I'm always having to jot down ideas. Like how many I don't even know if I can spit all these ideas out in all these titles. I have so many.
Oh
Mm,
wow, wow.
mm,
But that is a blessing, though. Because it's a gift. We have to acknowledge the gift
mm,
comes from the Most High. Well, I'm a believer too, so at least I would say that's what I believe. I believe that the gift comes from Him, and that anytime He blesses us with inspiration, that what we pen comes from Him, and
right.
it drops into your spirit, and that's where it comes from. So that's a beautiful. Listen, that was. I'm glad I asked that question because that was a beautiful explanation. I love that. I love
I'm
it.
glad you asked because people don't really ask that question. So that was a great question for me to hear.
And
Awesome.
that's why I
Look.
said with the little Candace, because I saw her put that question and I was like, I didn't, and it didn't dawn on me until I saw Untamed ask that. And I was like, oh, yes, that is an all lowercase, but that's small. I was waiting for your answer because one thing I can say with you and reading this book, when I say you dropped some knowledge without probably people thinking she dropping some knowledge. Like, every what they say about the opinions. One thing you said is what they say about opinions and buttholes. But what they don't tell you is the one screaming the loudest don't wipe well. I said, ooh, ooh. So now I know when people screaming too loud, I'm like, oh, I guess they ain't wiped their ass that well today. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. Oh, you ain't white well today. So now, I can kind of sum it up like that. But when I was like, oh, no, she didn't. But I loved that. I definitely loved that. Now,
Thank
my
you.
questions, I'm just jumping in. I'm just jumping in. So I kind of go back for people who probably haven't read the book. So the way JC started off this book, we got JC kind of talking about herself at a younger age. And me being a dark skinned girl, and her talking about her being a dachshund girl, being in school, being talked about, being picked over because of her skin. That resonated with me because that is what I grew up with, growing up with. Now, I did share with Untamed the difference between her and me. People kind of not came to me because I like to fight. So they knew, like, oh, if I said something wrong to her, she probably would pop me. But I felt, and I also told her I felt like I was healed from that because I did not shed a tear, but I was just like, I'm so glad you put this in the book. Now, I said that to ask this question. Why was JC so accepting of Hudson using certain words to describe her? And one of them is when that man called her at midnight, I would have bust his lip. I would have bust his lip. You hear me? And then when he said to her on the phone while they was having a conversation, hold on a second, hot chocolate. Who are you
Yeah,
talking to? And
right.
I just was like, why is she okay with that? So please, please make it make sense for me, please.
It wasn't that she was okay with it, it's the
Mm-hmm.
fact that she hadn't found her way to dance and tell him point blank, this this is unacceptable. Why do you think this is okay? She was too timid to tell. She was
Mm-hmm.
like bold in her art. She was bold in so many things, but she was not bold enough to, for one, break away from that toxic behavior of his,
Okay.
and the toxic behavior within herself that accepted it. Because in her mind, he doesn't know any better. Oh, he doesn't know any better, but she didn't really take the time to educate him on it either. So, with that kind of relationship, you have to take the time to educate each other on those differences. And even her friend mentioned to her, her friend Toddy mentioned to her, uh, what kind of greens are they
Oh,
cooking
that
for
was the
Thanksgiving?
funniest thing I have ever read. Oh, the
Mm-hmm.
mother finally bought greens to, decided to make greens for the holiday dinners. So Tati was like, "Well,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of greens? Collard greens?" She was like, "No, I think she said mustard and turnip." And I did my face up. I don't eat that. Give me some collards and some kale mixed with some fat back in it, then I'm happy. But mustard
Yeah.
and turnip greens, that's what they eat. We don't eat
Right.
that.
Right. That's why she said, his mother's not accepting you. She's calling you something else when you're not around. She's calling
Yes,
you the
Mm-hmm.
name for your face, but she's calling you something else when your ears can't hear it. And
yes.
all these things,
Exactly.
she knew. JC knew this stuff, but she didn't want to admit it to herself. And that was the problem, and why she needed to get it together, and why she needed to really grow up and grow into herself and say, no, I'm not okay with this.
Oh my gosh, I could.
Exactly.
Woo.
Oh, because and I think we're probably gonna be on Hudson for a little bit because neither one of us liked Hudson at
Mm-mm,
all.
mm-mm.
He was just so condescending and so rude and so crass, like
Yes,
unfeeling, unemotional, just all of these things. And now I get, that she had to kind of grow into herself and she was timid. But for me, where I almost wanted to reach through the book and just kind of like, JC, you
yes,
don't open your mouth. Okay, so first of all, she called him when she had just found out that, she had this medical diagnosis. And
mm-hmm,
she finds out that the woman who she suspected, first of all, was with him and was pregnant by him, was there. And she gets on the phone and disrespects her. And I'm just like, when she started saying, "Don't do this to me," and I was like, wait a minute. No, what you should be saying to him is, "This is over. You go have the life you deserve. I don't have time for this." But
oh,
on
I
top
wouldn't
of
have said
that,
that. I wouldn't have
girl,
said that.
girl,
I'm
I
about to
was
catch a
sitting,
flight. I'm about to catch a flight.
I,
That's what I
I
would have
was
told him.
like,
I'm on my
I,
way.
I'm
I'm
on my
trying to
way.
say, like,
Hmm.
he needed the life that he deserved, and I hope he get it. And it's like, but she went back. She was home in Parable, but she went back. Why? Like, what was her mindset of having this man convince her after he has clearly already been showing all these many times that he does not care. But then the ultimate disrespect was on that phone call when this lady is jaw jacking at her about her boyfriend. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, and he says zero. No, he says, "I told you I was going to tell her." I said, "Oh,
Yes, yes. I mean, that girl, you went from a classy, black, educated lady to a ghetto bunny. But I can't really say she was a ghetto bunny because I like the way we got to see her at the end. So I'm gonna stop talking.
mhm."
And
Hmm.
So I said all that.
those things where that's one of those things where she felt like she wasn't good enough to receive what she deserved.
Hmm.
And that fear of, am I really going to find someone else? Because sometimes when people help you and things like that, really it was a helpful relationship. They weren't
Hmm.
really partners like she thought they were, but he helped her. He helped catapult her career. So not only does she feel like I'm indebted to him for that, she also feels like that kind of savior complex. Like he
Okay.
saved me somehow, even though he's the one that's killing her emotionally and she doesn't realize it.
I saved that
Um,
because I wondered if you was gonna put that in a book. I told you, like my highlights is out of control. And when you just said that, this is exactly what she said. Because the therapist, and I'm kind of jumping ahead, you guys, so just bear with me because this book was good. But the therapist asked her why she was still with her, and she said, "And I won't leave him because the pain he causes me helps me create." I
Yes.
said, "Oh wow, mm,
wow. That was for you had so many profile moments.
you did."
But I take that back. I said when the woman got on the phone, that would have been it. I just told a fib because something struck me in my spirit and said, "That's not when you was done with Hudson. I was done with Hudson in the beginning of the book when he told her to comply when that police officer pulled over." And I was
What?
like,
Oh, that pissed me off.
I
That
said,
word. Yeah,
when he
comply.
said comply, look, I said comply just now, and I got goosebumps running up my skin because that's how irritated I was with
Mm-hmm.
Hudson. And then too, because he is Caucasian, for him to say that to this black woman who's supposed to be his woman,
His
and he's
woman.
like, well, just comply. And I was like, how insensitive and tone deaf are you, sir, that you would even fix your mouth to say this? So I guess my next question is, and I'm going off the beaten path because I really want to know this. Because he was so tone deaf, how did she even consider that she needed to be in a relationship with this man? Because it's like we see Hudson, like, we see him from this point where I can't even fathom how she thought this was even a choice that like I saw, we saw him in college, okay, but still, I was like, that is not enough. The way this man is
In
so arrogant.
college, she should have seen that he was no good. Like when they were in class, because
Yeah.
you did put the scene in with them in class, and I would have been like, oh, ooh, like
Yeah,
so. I don't. I just was like, how many times did her mama drop her?
but
That's what I was asking. You know, how
that
many times she might have rolled off the bed on the accident? You know what
this
I'm
man
saying?
was arrogant and rude. So
He
I'm just
was.
trying to figure how she even felt this was a good fit from the
Yeah.
beginning.
That it's that power couple thing. They're perceived as a power couple, and then if one of them unplugs, the other one feels like now I don't have anything else. Who
Got
Hmm.
am
you.
I? Because even when I listen things like that, one of the questions that makes me freeze up is who are you, without saying what you do.
Hmm.
That is a
Mm-hmm.
very difficult question for me sometimes because it's like I automatically say I'm an author, I'm a dancer, I'm these things that are on my bio, but who am I outside of that bio? So it's that
Hmm.
kind of who am I outside of this person, and she couldn't see the best parts of her was outside of him. And I won't lie, he made me mad when I was writing it. And so I'm tapping hard in my
Well, I'm
husband
glad
is
to know
like,
that.
what is wrong
I'm
with you?
glad
And
to know that.
I'm like, he
He
made me mad. He made me mad.
And the thing is, I think what bothered me the most is because they were in a relationship, you know, and she kept on contemplating, like, it's time for me to walk away, but I'm gonna give him another chance. You know what? No, I need to walk away, but I'm gonna give him another chance. He wasn't saying the same thing about you.
No, he
Like,
wasn't.
he was not saying the same thing about you. So it's just like, girl, let him go, please.
Right.
Please.
And I want to say this. So for Hudson, it was the same thing. Did he feel like he needed, JC in order to continue to
He did.
be this, this powerful Hollywood director producer that he was?
Yes, because on one hand, he feels like he has power over her, especially with the dollars that he's putting into the films. But on the
Mhm.
other hand, she is the creativity behind it. So where
Hmm.
is he going to draw this from? Because even the other one, the other girl, she was a player in it, but
Right.
she wasn't what brought it together. So he was nothing without her, and he knew that. He knew that these movies
Hmm.
would not have gotten made on his own without her because she was strong, even though it didn't seem like it, but she was strong, smart, and powerful in her own right. They said she was the next Spike Lee. So
Yep.
now he
Hmm.
got her, and he needs her more than she needs him, but neither one of them realized that.
Mm, 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 mm.
Mm, I
Because who
feel
are
So
his
you.
investors giving money to? Why are his investors going to give him money if she's not around?
that is true.
Exactly.
Because she's the one
Exactly.
doing the writing, and yeah, so that is true. Now, I did say I'm gonna drop some spoilers, so my spoilers gonna be all over the place. So y'all gotta read the book to see where I'm getting them from. Okay. My next question, because I'm kind of skipping and we kind of touched it a little bit. So this is my thing. And I'm gonna say it just how I said it when I was typing it. Why didn't JC use the same energy on Hudson that she used on that white doctor when she was at the ER?
Oh, I
That,
have a
that
simple
same
answer.
energy.
I have a simple answer. She didn't want to go to jail.
she, she said that's a simple answer. She didn't want to go to jail. Well,
She,
you
wa-
know
I'm
what?
gonna just I'm gonna say this as someone in healthcare, someone who had friends that when they need health advice, they call me because, like I said, I'm in healthcare.
Yeah,
You, as a patient, when you go into a doctor's office and they don't want to do what you want them to do, you are allowed to say what you want to say and get up and walk out, and then call your insurance and don't pay. And if they pay them, if they bill it, then you can kind of go ahead and go against it because they didn't do their service. Now,
Hmm.
granted, she's trying. Now, one thing I can say, she was trying to save her life, and it was making me mad because she wasn't listening. Like, girl, you passed out. You
yeah,
could have
Hmm.
died. So
Yeah.
what she was saying was true, but I just needed her to use that same energy on that daggone man that she with, that she's sleeping with, that she doing a whole lot of stuff with, and he
yeah.
treating her worse than what the doctor treated her. But
Listen,
I just needed, and I understand she didn't want to go to jail, but nah, she probably would have got something. Yeah, she told
listen.
her enough, but I
I
think I would have
needed
tuned her out a
her.
little bit more.
I needed her to look. I'm skipping too. Well, I needed her to use that same energy in that
Yes.
restaurant when them people threw that girl threw that hot cocoa or chocolate latte, whatever it
Oh,
was on that
With
on
spit.
Mozzie.
With
yeah,
spit. Let's not
Listen,
leave out the
yeah,
spit.
that's the part where I had
yeah,
to. You guys, I had to put that book down for a day because I was so mad. I was
Mm-hmm.
so mad. When I
yeah.
tell you, you touched on so many things, and this
Mm-hmm.
speaks to today's time. With the whole white tears and fake victim blaming. It's like it was ridiculous. And in this particular scene, you had Mizey who was, I believe she was what, 14 years old, 15 years old,
Yep.
and she
Mm-hmm.
was working at this cafe, and JC was there, and JC's friend was there. I love me some
Tati.
Tatiana.
I love me some Tati. Yes.
Tati is just small. I love her to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And these Confederate wearing white people came up, and she explained to them that something was wrong with the latte machine, and they just get really belligerent. And one girl takes off the cap, drinks it, spits it back, throws it to her, and it lands all over this young teenager, and
They
said,
grown people.
"Go fetch me some more." And I want to say this: um, the resilience that Mozzie had not to turn around and just, as a 15-year-old,
As a
not
15-year
to
old.
attack her for doing that. But I was sitting here this whole time, like when Tati came down, because Tati's the truth, right? She's not gonna let it fly. She was going off, and I was sitting here like, JC, say something. And so then when
Right,
she did say a little bit, but I was like, my question in my mindset was like, why didn't she use her celebrity status to,
Mm-hmm.
put the manager on blast? Because I would have been like, "Oh, you don't know who I am. You about to be viral in the next 10 seconds
right,
about
right.
this young girl." So I guess I want to say, why didn't, even in that moment, why didn't she kind of assert herself even more to fight in that moment? Because I know with Miley, she's young and she might have been a little bit confused as to how, what to do and how to do it, but she
Right.
controlled. But I don't know. I felt like JC should have done a little bit more to defend her in that moment.
She actually should have, especially because
Mm-hmm.
she loved the girl. Like this,
Hmm.
this is if she had a daughter, it would be Maisie.
It
You
would be
know,
mine. Yeah.
absolutely loved her. The problem is she felt like that same celebrity that she should have used would backfire on her, because there's this whole cancel culture now where you do the littlest thing, you get canceled
Mhm.
for it, even if you did nothing at all. And in this instance, she would have been right to go off on him. She would have been right to
Mhm.
go off on the people. She would have been right to tear the place up, actually. But
Yep.
there's
Mhm.
that thought that I'll lose it all.
Mhm. Yeah, and I do get that, because it is, and I mean these days and times, I can attest to that. Just being an author, doing the things that I do. There are some things, I have thoughts about, and I just wear the past. I might have expressed that. These days, I'm really cognizant of the things I say out loud, because
Mm-hmm.
of the position that I'm in. Even with the podcast, I'm very cognizant of the things that I say out loud. Um,
You should be having the
and
real me in sometimes too, because
Well, and you're so right about that. Like and I love that you say you're aware of the things that you say out loud, and I am as well as what I write out loud.
mm-hmm.
Because you
mhm,
put something in writing, that thing can go viral. And so let's just say my husband gets an earful of my opinions that I don't write. Or if you read my books, you can actually tell how I really feel about certain situations because it's in
mhm.
the book.
Mm-hmm.
I say I don't get revenge, I put it in the book. So
I mean,
my
the biggest revenge is when you said that people that be screaming the loudest don't wipe well. That was your biggest revenge ever. That was the best revenge I ever heard. I'm telling everybody, oh, you all right, you must have wipe well today. Go back home and rewipe. You know, they'll never
Got
know what
some.
that means, but I got
They
my
got some
revenge
good.
on
They got some good crush
oh,
sucker in the back.
that's too funny. I don't even know why I wrote that.
And you had the perfect person who said that her mother temper was the perfect person to
Mhm.
say that. I love that. Now we talked about Tati a little bit. I want to kind of touch on Tati. And I said Tatiana was such a great friend. Now there you did talk about in the book that she was, I'm trying to see how to say, she kind of, I've put that she dealt with demons. And like where did her
Yes.
demons come from?
I never honestly explained where those demons came from,
Right.
but she struggled with emotional and mental issues. And
Mhm.
I don't know if I can say what I can say.
Yeah, you
Um,
can
The
say what you
unaliving
can.
part.
yes, I didn't
Yeah,
know if
that's I kind of yeah.
I didn't know if that was proper for me to say that in this forum. But she had struggled. She was a cutter from
Mm-hmm.
childhood. She's always struggled with depression and those demons. And as much as her mother tried to protect her from those demons, some in the form of family, it just
Mm-hmm.
didn't happen. And so for all these years, she's instead of getting counseling, she is self-medicating,
Right.
and trying to take care of things herself, and which only made matters worse. So anytime her mother doesn't hear from her, or anytime
Mm-hmm.
JC doesn't hear from her, it's like, is she okay? Is she okay? And
Mhm.
JC's always like, promise me that you're going to talk to me. Promise me that you're going to come to me. If you need help, promise me. And that's not really always a promise that Tati has, because even though she's beautiful and she has this career and all these other things, she's a singer and she's a vibrant
Yes.
personality and all that, but she just feels like she's alone.
Mhm.
And
Oh
So,
yeah.
I think she was like a beautifully written character. She was like a beautiful disaster.
oh, I like that.
Yes.
And it was a
Yes.
book that I read by another author. It was called A Beautiful Disaster. He was, and I'm not saying he was the way Tati was, but he was angry. He liked to fight a lot. He was just rough. And then he finally found this girl while they were in college. And she was in college. And he, I think, no, he was in college. And he fell in love with her. And so she got to see the softer side of it. And the author named the book A Beautiful Disaster. And I think that describes Tati. She was a beautiful disaster because, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
she stood up for Tati. I mean, for Mizey when that situation happened. Like, she came up off the stage
She
and
did.
stood up for her. She got in that lady's face who did it. She talked about the manager who fired her. You fired a
Yeah.
14-year-old child. She said, and instead of you firing her and yelling at her, did you ask her was she okay after that lady threw hot coffee on her? None of that.
Misfit.
So
Misfit in it.
yes. And I just, it was, to me, it was no wrong. And then I love the fact that you gave her her own family. Do you think giving her her own family, will that help her say, okay, now I got somebody else, I got a child, I got a husband that I got to be here for. What can I do to make myself better? Do you think she would say it's time for me to get the help I need?
Absolutely. Her story is definitely not finished because she has something that she
Ooh.
feels she has to live for. Absolutely.
So,
Yes.
since you said her story not finished, are we gonna see what's gonna happen to see that her story not finished?
Maybe
I'm
so.
asking for myself. I ain't untamed. I'm asking for men untamed.
Well, I would love to tell her story, honestly. She was one of my favorite characters, especially because she's a fighter. She did a lot of things
Hmm.
that I want to do, but because of the position I'm in, I can't do it fighting wise. So
Right, right.
I
Now I
like
will
to
say
write those
this.
type of characters.
Look, and I'll say this now. If that had happened to Miles in front of me, I would have went full Tati. Okay, I would have went 100%. I think I would have threw the coffee back on her. I would have
Yes.
found some confidence, threw it back on that lady.
Now, in real life, I would definitely because I do have a dance company, and my I've had dancers everywhere from 7 years old to 70 years old, 70.
Oh.
And when I tell you, no matter what age, those are my babies. That's my
Mm-hmm.
family. I don't
Yeah.
have biological kids, so the dancers have been my children. I do have bonus kids with my husband and a bonus daughter who I like to think of as Mizey. Um, but I would literally fight for those girls. So like do
Hmm.
something
Mm-hmm.
to, and I'm a very calm person. It takes a lot to push me, but do something to my babies,
I
and
know
now
that's
it's
right.
on. Or even my husband. You know, the scene with the doctor was kind of similar to something that happened to my husband and I in real life. Only in real life, my husband had a medical emergency, and I went head up with this doctor that was 6'5", and my husband's like, "I'm too tired to fight. Why are you in this?" And I'm just on this man, and I'm all in his face, let him know that you may not care about my husband, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
And this
I
man's
Mm-hmm.
do.
gonna live and
Yeah.
he's gonna do what I need you to do right now. So it was
Hmm.
a whole
Listen,
different side of me. So that part of JC is definitely not me. That I'm more of Tati in that aspect. Absolutely. And
listen.
if
I
that had happened with me, even if I didn't know Mizey, but that happened to a child in front of me, oh, it's on.
I know that's
Yeah.
right. I know that's right. Listen, I'm with you on that, Candace. I do that for my husband. My husband came home one time. It is so funny because he got into it with a guy about his lawnmower. Like they were supposed to fix something and they did something else, broke something. So he comes home telling me the story, and I was like, "Oh, we going back."
You for all the smoke.
Right,
I can't look. I
right.
go back, and when I tell you, I really and I turned that shot out for my husband. And then later, he's like, "Well, I took you. Like, I took you back because I thought you was gonna like just back me up." I said, "Oh, when you come get me, I thought you was activating Batman. I didn't come to play Robin."
That part. I'm glad I don't have to act like that no more. My daughter does that. And she worse than me. I thought I was bad, and when I look at her, I be like, damn, I feel bad for them because she don't care. No cut cards whatsoever. None
Oh my
whatsoever.
goodness!
Yes.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
Yes.
Have to do that, and that's what I wanted JC to learn how to do, and that's what a lot of the readers who've been giving me feedback. That's what they were mad about at her for. Um, the most messages I would get were about Hudson.
Ugh.
I can believe that.
And how much people hate him, and then how much they wanted JC to find herself. They just wanted to say, "Come on, come on,
Yeah.
come on." But I'm glad that y'all touched on Tati because she was actually her and Maisie were two of my favorite characters in the book.
Oh my God. I
Oh, I
do you
love
know
them so
another
much.
like my my scene, my favorite scene, and I'm gonna say this is my favorite scene. When them kids read her for filth, that teacher,
Look, you
them
said going
kids
right into my
read
question.
Jay-Z for filth. But I want to say thank you for putting black children in a book and not saying this to like hurt or offend anybody else because I'm gonna read a black child at any type of way in a book. But for them to say, "Oh, we're not used to stuff like that," they're in two-parent homes. They come, they into doing. They
They
skating club.
activists.
Oh,
Look,
it was a
they
skating club.
activists and they
Right.
they like school and they're activists and I'm
Right.
like,
They
we
they
don't know
smart
this life.
kids. Like you said, right. We don't know this life. That's not our trauma. We don't know it. I love that scene so much. And it was nothing she can do but just stand there and take it. And I loved that so much because it's like not all our kids live that life. Like you see black kids on the news and ones who are living it rough. That's how they portray, but not every black kid live like that. And I was
Exactly.
just
No.
like, thank you for that. Thank you
I
for that.
tell my kids all the time they could never. So, and I don't 100% come from that life either. And it's like
Right.
I grew up more with a single parent household once my
Mhm.
parents separated. So I learned very quickly how to do a lot of stuff for myself. But I
Right.
tell my kids now, I say y'all could make it with living how me and your dad live. Y'all
You
grew up in a
know
single
what I'm
parent
saying?
household in the suburbs. What are you talking about?
Mm-mm.
Well, and I grew up in the suburbs with both parents. My parents, they're celebrating 52 years this year.
Oh,
Ooh,
wow.
congratulations.
And
Congratulations.
thank you. And they did, people, because I dance, people think that dance is my first love, but actually writing is my first love. I
Hmm.
learned how to read when I was 3 years old. And so my parents have always invested in my writing down to, I used to read all the little teen magazines that came out when I was 50, when I was Miley's age. We took a trip to California. They dropped my brother off at art school. Of all people, Ice Cube went to that school. That's before he was Ice Cube. That's how
Hmm.
long
I
ago
mean,
it was.
Ice Cube is smart. He's a very
Yes,
intellectual man.
Yes.
Very intellectual
yes.
man.
And he was an artist.
Yeah.
And so they took me to my favorite magazines because I liked to write. And so they made
Hmm.
sure on the family vacation I got to go meet other writers and things like that. So I grew up in a different world. They used to take me over to South Dallas to the school every weekend to a journalism camp. How many black kids do you know got to go to journalism camp and get
Right.
scholarships? You know,
Right.
I met all of the people on our news station, the ones that worked at the newspapers and mayors and everybody because my parents invested into my art and what I wanted to do. So, not everyone thrives off of trauma. And somebody needed to tell JC that because she was just worried about the money. Because that was her defense
Listen,
with the kids.
It
and
was
let
the
me
money.
ask you
That's
this.
that's all she could say. She couldn't say anything else because she didn't even grow up like that.
Right.
Exactly. She
And
She
I
didn't
did
grow
did.
up.
want
She
and I
had a
did want to
famous
ask
mama.
this part too.
Right.
I wanted to ask, because since we brought this up, this is a perfect segue. I did want to ask, was JC actually proud of the content she created?
No,
Okay.
I
no.
wouldn't be.
Because she actually, and that's why she asked her mother the question that she asked her, have you watched my movies? Because
Yes.
Hmm.
they're saying this, this, and this. And her mother's like, well, don't worry about what they say. What do you say? But in her heart, she knew that that was not the right thing to do, especially considering who her boyfriend was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So it's like she's allowing him to exploit her and push her into a reality that she doesn't own. And that was crazy. And she
Yeah.
knew making those movies that, maybe one or two is cute, but now this is what she's known for. And she knew it wasn't right. And she was not proud. That's a great question. She was not proud of that at all. She was actually ashamed. And the kids ripped that band aid off and made her see that wound that she had put on herself.
Girl, yeah,
Yeah,
like
and
you're
she didn't
using
want
your
to admit that. And I was just
yes.
like, she kept in her mind, she was like, she understood where he was coming from, but she was like, but still, and that's why that question sparks me because it's like, if she had been proud of the content she made, I feel like even if she didn't want to come at the kids because she was trying to be the adult in the situation, she wouldn't have had the internal struggles with their questions.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Exactly. They hit a nerve. They hit
Yeah.
a nerve and she was triggered and she did not want to admit that they had pulled the trigger.
I love that they pulled it. Pow, pow, because she deserved
They
it.
look,
She
they
deserved it.
at first I was like, oh, they little smart about kids. And then I was like,
Right.
but when they kept talking, I was like, ooh, but I hate to admit they right.
They right. They was right. Now, we talked about that little sorry excuse for a man called Hudson Pike. We talked about him. That was, because he was disliked. But all I'm going to say is, who the hell is Luke Favors? And where can I find me one of those? Because
Luke
that
is the one
man,
that once we learn how to dance.
Luke is one of them men that you meet when you done been with the gutter, when you done been with a gutter snipe, like Ayala Van Zant said, when you done been with a gutter snipe that then dragged you, that then got about 5, 6 like, oh Lord, he don't love me no more. I need somebody. And then all of a sudden, Luke Favors knock on your door and be like, baby, I'm here.
Yes, literally.
Like,
Not
and
that.
that's what he was saying. I'm here, baby. Where did he come from?
Well, and it's so funny that you say that because I had to go through the muck and the mire to get to my Luke, who it's 18 years for us this year, in July. We would have been married. We will be married 18 years in July, together 20 years. And so I had to
I was about to
put
say whose husband, because I was gonna say whose husband is that, but yeah, mm-hmm.
so it's one of those things where I had my share of snakes and I got bit one too many times.
Yes, mm-hmm. And I don't
Hmm.
like to be bite
So,
unless I tell you to bite me, and where. But I get that. I get that.
and Luke is just that, he's the one that's not, he's not a fairy tale. He's just what
Mm-hmm.
we want. He's
Hmm.
what we need. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we're complete without him, but oh my goodness, with him, life is so much better. I
Yes.
loved writing. I just loved the sensitivity because our black men also aren't always written as romantic or empathetic. They're missing
Hmm.
so much empathy. And so I try to write brothers who have empathy. My husband is very empathetic with me. And that's a trait
Hmm.
that I really like, and I love. So I had to put that in Luke because that's a very good trait to have.
I
And
and I loved him because he was such a man's man. Like it, it
Yes.
wasn't it wasn't even his attraction that allowed him to like stand up or take care of JC. it's just who he was. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like when she passed out, he was like, "Nah, you staying here." He was like, "I got, I mean, you don't have no family. What are you talking about? Stay
Right.
here. Why
What you
come
gonna go
back
back
to
to an empty
you?"
house?
And
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "No, because there's something wrong, and we gonna find out." And like when she called him and said, you know, if when she talked to him, she said, "I'm sorry, you know, she missed the class," and he says, "If I told you, you know, this, what would you say?" And his answer was like, "Boom, boom, boom," you know, it's
Yes,
like
he it's not like
right.
he thought about it. He just was like, bad, right, like just spit him out. And I was just like, who
He was
is
like, "Boom,
this
boom."
man?
It
He
was
was
like,
just
"You."
real. Yeah, he was just real. He was just a real human um,
Mhm.
that happened to be awesome. And I want to
Yes.
say that awesome humans still exist.
Yes. My favorite quote,
Yeah.
I told you I was highlighting. My favorite quote from him is, when you're ready for your one day to become your day one, I got you always. I said, yes, Luke,
Yes.
yes. Get your
Luke
woman.
was the bomb. Luke was the
He, oh my
bomb.
gosh, I loved him.
I loved
I,
him so much.
I loved every character except
Except,
Hudson. Except
Listen,
Hudson. I,
I it's
oh,
I
I
rooted
even
for
like Sky.
JC.
Sky Falling. Uh,
Yeah.
oh, did you really?
wait a minute, check this out. I read that book and listened to that name over and over and over again. Now I just realized what the hell her name sounds like. The sky is falling. I think it was
Yes.
because to me, she was like a loud popping chewing gum that she'd be like, girl, go spit that shit out. Like, that's how I
Mhm.
felt about her. Her voice, ooh, grated me. But no, I liked her as LaDonna.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that
gotcha.
conversation
Gotcha.
that LaDonna, which was the sky falling, and
Mhm.
JC had at the end, to me, I was like, oh, I mess with her. I mess with her.
Oh,
She
I
wasn't
know.
Mhm.
stupid.
Mm-mm. No,
No,
she
not by
really
a long
was.
shot.
She
Not by a
really
long
Mhm.
was.
shot.
And
Mm-mm.
she came to herself. Because remember, even she had an attachment to the serpent.
Yep, she did.
Yes.
She
I mean, she
she
had the
had she had
reputation.
one of his appendages attached very well to her, like very well. So well she got a baby.
Too
Yes.
well. Too
Yes.
Yes.
well. So
Yes.
my
She just happened
goodness.
to wake up faster than JC did.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Thank
Now,
goodness.
since we talking about JC again, because I mean it's about her, Luke said something, and I love the word you use, and I think I want to kind of start using that too. So you done gave me two things that I want to use. But I said, if Luke could see that Hudson was black curious, why couldn't JC? But I mean, you kind of answered that already. But I loved how he said black curious. I loved how you put that in
Mhm.
it because it was said more than once in the book.
And I guess I would say explain to the audience like what is Black Curious?
Yes.
Oh, he's curious about black women. And that's where all those food names came from. He's heard
Hmm.
things about black women, but now he wants to experience black women for himself. And then if it's
Hmm.
not in a romantic situation, then it's just in a, sometimes people, I think that as black men and women, we're very interesting. We're very creative. We
We
are
are.
magical. We are awesome. And sometimes people really want to know what makes us tick. What why do we have this specialness about us? And so they're curious. They are literally black curious about how we came to be who we are. And Hudson just wanted to dip in the water and see what it was about.
They should
Mm.
have kept, keep that one.
Keep him out of the pool.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep him
Or
out of the
if he in the
community
pool by
pool.
himself, go ahead and just piss in it.
We're gonna keep
When
him
I
out the
say,
community pool from now on. Like
yeah,
I just
when I say I could not stand him, like every time he talked, I was just like, oh my God, him again. Like,
mm,
shut up. Just shut up. He was just,
and
oh,
I listened to it and I wanna say that
oh
Jennifer
yes.
Walker did an excellent job of making us really hate Hudson.
Yes, she did.
Cause
Yes, she
that
did.
old condescending voice she used, I was
Uh,
like, ma'am, do you have to let look? He already grating our nerves.
you know what I'm saying?
He is
Uh,
already
Yeah.
grating our nerves. But I will say this: you tackle so many issues regarding colorism, race relations,
mhm.
representation, self care, and different forms of love between friendships and, regular relationships, and the love you have for your parents, because Maisie was going through her own situation with her mom, and
Oh,
there was
Elaine.
so much. Why was it important for you to cover this gamut of topics in this book?
Because we have traumas, all these different things that they're dealing with could be triggers and trauma, but there's a way to approach it and not glorify it. So I wasn't
Mm.
glorifying the trauma, but I wanted to help us navigate through it and show what love can do and show what a good relationship can do. I wanted us to show emotional intelligence, which we don't always get. People
Mm-hmm.
judge us and say that we're not emotionally intelligent, but we are. And so I wanted to show that I'm a really sensitive person, not easily offended, which is why at the beginning I had to open up the way that I did with the airplane
Oh, that
scene.
was such a
But I
beautiful.
just
Oh, that
Woo, that was
opening was
hilarious.
so. I loved it.
It was hilarious to me.
and it's so funny because when I speak to you, I'm not really a sarcastic person, but when I write, I'm so sarcastic.
Your sarcasm was on 100, the entire book.
That's me. I can be so sarcastic on paper, but I really wanted to show just a full circle moment for us and
Hmm.
show that there is a rainbow and the rainbow holds the promise. So we go through things, but the important thing is, are we actually getting through them? Are we just waiting on the other side while we die? And I don't want us to do that. So if one person gets hope out of reading that, if one person gets a laugh out of reading the book, if one person gets a quote out
I
of
got
reading the
many.
book,
I got many.
then I've done my job. And it's just a dream come true. This is the kind of book that I've always wanted to write, but didn't know that if it would be accepted. So I'm so grateful to Black Odyssey for taking this chance on me and JC.
Well, I'm
Oh,
glad they did. Now, I'm putting up four fingers, y'all, because there are four more. And I think that would take a whole nother hour. And I know we ain't trying to be on here all night. But there are four more characters in this book that I still loved. Elaine was one of them. Elaine was
yeah.
Luke's sister,
Mm-hmm.
Maisie's mother. I mean, she was such a beautiful character. That conversation that Elaine and JC had in the park was
Yeah.
the best conversation I have ever listened to, because I listened to the book too, but I listened because I had the book and the word, I got to see the
Mm-hmm.
words. But it was a beautiful conversation. Then, now, this is what made me love JC. So Big Luke, which is Luke and Elaine's father,
Mm-hmm.
Maisie's grandfather, suffered from Alzheimer's. And when
Mm-hmm.
he came in that room and thought that JC was his wife and she just went
Yeah.
along with it, I said, I love her.
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
she was okay with that. We cannot forget about Temper. You cannot forget about her mother, because the way she always addressed her as Temper, I was like, dang, do they not have a great relationship? But and as I asked myself that question, then she said, when she got sick and said, I need my mother. I said,
Mm-hmm.
oh, and Temper, like I said, that first quote when I was saying that y'all ain't white, well, that was from her mama. That was from her mama. Her mama played no games in these gospel streets out here, not at
Yes.
all. But I cannot
Yes.
also forget about the doctor who healed that girl.
Yeah.
I love the
Yes.
doctor. I can't think of her name right now, and I should have wrote it down.
Izzy. Dr. Izzy.
Got the
Yes,
Izzy. Mm-hmm.
Doctor Izzy.
Isabella.
Oh, Isabella. Yes, that when I mean, it's nothing I can say bad except for Hudson about this book. Like
Yes.
this is a book for people, and I'm gonna say women, but I feel like maybe some men can do it, and I'm not even just gonna say black women, women of all, like women of color, period, because
Mm-hmm.
this book showed that we can get up where we want to go, but are we happy there? Are we content there? Or what we going to
Yeah.
put up with to stay where we want to be? Or are we going to eventually say F it and walk away from it completely and start all over again?
Right.
And that's what she did. She
And you
walked
know
away
what?
from being a huge person and started over again.
I would
Yes.
say this. I also think too, that I would like people outside of people of color to read this because
That is
you
true.
created so many think pieces in
Yes.
here for them to do some self reflection on themselves and see
Mm-hmm.
things from the lens of someone who has to live in this skin every day, and
Yep.
how we're interpreted and how we're seen and how we're perceived and how we're treated. And
Mm-hmm.
and I think sometimes seeing it that way without it being a major news cycle incident where they already have a predetermined, predisposed and predetermined just opinion about what's going on. But if you see it in a different way from a different lens, maybe it'll open their eyes to some type of sentimental understanding. And like you
Mm-hmm.
said, give them the emotional intelligence they need to say, you know what, let me take a step back and put myself
Right.
in their shoes and see
Yes.
how I would react. Because let me tell you, I can tell you for sure if half of that stuff happened to them, they would not have had the decorum that we have, period. And that's because they know they haven't had to, and they don't
That's
need
true.
to. So
Yes.
I say that this book is a book for everybody, for those who want to consume and have an understanding of who they are, but also who others are. If everybody doesn't haven't gotten to that point in their life yet, and that's okay too. Maybe hopefully one day they will.
Right.
We'll keep praying. We'll keep them in prayer.
That
All right.
part.
We'll keep on in prayer. Yes.
We'll keep them in prayer.
We
But this
sure
was
will.
such a great book. So we've had our takeaways. What is your personal takeaway for your book that you would love people to just take away from it?
I really want anyone who reads this book to take away the fact that you can dance on your own, because that's where the whole thing stemmed from, is we're always dancing to other people's choreography, and that's what
Mm.
JC's problem was. People, her life was choreographed, so to speak, for her. First she's a child of gospel, but then she puts out secular movies that she doesn't even like because other
Right.
people like it. So she behaved one way because her mother expected her to, and her father expected her to. Then she gets her own success and her identity, but now she's traded in that identity to dance the way other people want her to, especially he who shall not be named. But I
Right.
want people, I want people
I'm gonna
to
just turn my
know.
head.
But I want people to dance on their own terms. I've done that often in my life, in the when I especially when I was around JC's age. But now that I'm 50, I know I can dance on my own terms. I feel like my filter has fallen off. I'm always going to be respectful, but I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to do what my heart wants to do, not what everyone else expects me to do. And that's what I want people to take away from the book. And I want people to have compassion for each other. I want them to have empathy for one another. And I want us to realize that life is too short for the dumb stuff. So
Yes.
enjoy it for what it is now and learn how to dance.
You
I
know, you just said something.
that's good
I
closing.
Yes, that was an excellent closing. Cause, and then, like I said, with her being in her 30s, I just told my daughter's turning 30 next month, and I already told her get ready because I'm gonna be crying. So I'm doing like a 30-30, so she get a gift a day for 30 days. And I wrote her a card, and the one thing I did say is, you're turning 30. This is this is your time for discovery to learn yourself. But one thing I want you to remember: don't take no for an answer.
Don't take
And
no for
I
an answer. I love it.
don't take no for an
Yes.
answer. Whatever you want, go get it. And if they say no, be like, okay, and keep on going. Because just because they told you don't no, don't mean the next person. And that's what I feel like JC did. Okay, it's time for me to, not do this no more. Let me go do it on my own. And I'm not taking no for an answer.
Yes.
I loved it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Awesome. But you
you
did a
did that. I'm
wonderful
bow down,
job.
bow down.
It's an
I love
excellent
this.
book. It was an
Yes,
excellent book, and you did a
excellent.
magnificent job. And I just want to encourage everyone to go out
Please
and
do.
read this book because you
Yes.
might look, you might be triggered a little bit, but it's a good book. So keep on, so keep on.
Yes, there is. Yeah, there could be some little triggers in it, but yeah, it could be. And we did kind of talk about one with the unaliving for anybody who's going through that, but also then like with the sickness with Elaine, that might be a little trigger for some people too. But I mean, like I said, every character, it was something special about each one of your characters, except for that damn Hudson.
Well, there was something special about him. He was special in the head. So
There you
But
go.
you want to know what? I was like, oh, he's trying to redeem himself, and then you're gonna put your family out. You should have been put your family business out there and let people know that they were bigots. You should have been did
exactly,
that. Oh, because you
exactly.
and like LaDonna said, well, I think that was an apology to you. He can take that apology, and JC, I'm gonna tell him for you, Hudson. You can take that apology and shove it all the way up your behind till it hits your nostril cavities. Who
Look,
cares?
Ouch.
show that look. Look, going white good with that apology. That's what you're
Right,
gonna
going
do.
white
Going
good.
white good. Going white good. Well,
Yes.
Candice, I would like for you to like tell the audience where they can first of all connect with you outside of Facebook if you have any other social media because they see your name here, but let them know where they can connect with you if you have any events that are coming up and also where they can purchase the book.
Okay. And so I'm on Facebook, and then for Instagram and TikTok, my handle is at Candice, CandiceO, S like Sam, P like Paul, Candice OSP. So that's how you can find me. Now keep in mind, I just said I'm in the 50 club, so I'm learning TikTok, but I got you. So you can connect with me there. So
Yep.
I'm learning to navigate my way through there. And then the book can be purchased on Walmart.com, Amazon.com, Target.
Yep.
I have seen it in Target. I believe it's coming to Walmart uh, in store, but it is online. I think I said Barnes and Noble, Books a Million. So it's like wherever books are sold, you're going to be able to find Every Black Girl Dances. And oh, did I forget anything?
Do you have any events coming up?
Oh, yes, I will be speaking. I am a keynote speaker for Sunday Morning Glory at the Christian Book Lovers Retreat, and that is the first weekend in October of this year. So I'm so excited about that. And JC and I will
Yes.
be traveling to North Carolina.
Okay.
So I'm
I
really
love it.
excited. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, I'm so excited for you. Well, you guys, I am going to show you the book one more time before we go, so you guys will know what it looks like. That is the cover. Every Black Girl Dance is such a beautiful cover,
It really
beautiful, beautiful
is.
cover. Um, and like she said, it is available on Amazon, on Walmart.com, Barnes and Noble, Books A Million, and Target. And it was in store in Target. I've seen it there myself.
I've seen it there myself as well. And then when I go back,
Uh,
it's not there. So next time I go back, I will grab it. I was looking
but
at my
it is
shelf like,
there.
did I grab it? But I didn't.
And I look, I'm remiss. I had a whole paperback downstairs on my bookshelf and forgot to bring the book up here so I can show it on camera. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh my
Oh,
gosh. So,
I
ah, look, she
There
like,
you
don't worry
go.
about it. I got you.
Yes.
got you.
I love it. I love
I
it.
got
My
you.
baby, and I love the cover so much.
Yes.
Yes. It's
Yes.
simple, but it speaks volumes.
Yes.
Speak
Yes, I
volumes.
love it.
It's
I
it
love
is
it. I'm so in love with that cover.
Hmm.
that title stands out and it makes you want to just pick up that book and say, let me see what this is about.
Just
Because
pick it
you
up
just
and
know.
dance.
Pick it up
You
and
just
dance.
know. Pick it
Pick it
up
up
and
and
dance.
dance. Hmm.
I know that's right. Well, Crystal, look, you taking your super one, Crystal. Let everyone know how they can connect with you.
You can find me on Instagram as Books and Soul One, and then on Facebook and TikTok as Books and Soul. That's it.
Awesome. Well, I am at Author Untamed everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, and where else am I normally? Oh, TikTok. Yeah, I'm on
Mm-hmm.
TikTok too. I am still on Twitter, but I'm never on Twitter. So if you
Me
find me
either.
there, don't
Oh,
don't
nice.
don't talk to me on Twitter because I I will never see it.
Well, I about to say I don't hear you on Twitter. Mm-mm.
I would never see it. I let Elon Musk have his own I let him have his platform because I cannot with him. But yes, but you guys, please make sure that you are following the podcast. We have a Facebook group called Get Caught Up Author Podcast. You can go in there and just check out our different events with all of our authors, author interviews, book of the month discussions, narrator of the month discussions. They're all in there. Books that we're reading. If you would like to share some information, please feel free to share. We do like to share anything that's upcoming with our authors or narrators or whoever in the literary industry has something going on. Publishers, if you want to share, please share. And we're also
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram at Get Caught Up Podcast. And also, we're on TikTok and on YouTube at Get Caught Up Podcast. Our YouTube and TikTok are brand new, but I'm so excited. TikTok, the people are over there loving it. We today we surpassed our 200 followers. So I'm so excited.
All
So
right.
excited on TikTok. Thank you guys. You guys are loving what we are putting down. So definitely I the TikTok support is there, and I appreciate you guys so much for it. Please make sure that you support the podcast by following it or subscribing to it through Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts. Google Podcasts is still there, but they're going away, unfortunately. So if you listen there, please move over to one of the other platforms, Audible, Amazon Music, and anywhere else that you listen to podcasts. Just make sure that you either follow or subscribe, whatever they call for on that particular site. And coming up, our March narrator of the month is Miss L. Cleveton. She
Yay.
is going to be in the building live Thursday, March 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. She is going to just chop it up with us about, and I love Elle. She puts on a show every time she comes
I'm
in.
ready for
So
this. I'm excited.
she she does. She hops in and out of character, so I love it. She is our March narrator of the month. And coming up in April, we will have I guess I'll announce that one on the narrator of the month. But our
Yeah.
first author
Announce it
interview,
then. Announce it then.
yes, our first author interview of April will be with Mariah J. So you guys please make sure you tune in to the podcast at anchor.fm / get caught up. And if you would like a commercial, or if you would like your song played, or if you would just like to donate, just hit up the website at getcaughtuppodcast.card.co. That's Get Caught Up Podcast.carrb.co. Get Caught Up Podcast.card.co. Just visit there, and there is a section where you can get information for all of those things. Well, ladies, It has been such a pleasure with you all on this live tonight, talking about Every Black Girl Dances, which is a phenomenal book. I just want to give you your flowers, Candace, because you did your big
Yes,
one with this.
you definitely did. I really like, yes, I enjoyed it. I would love to see them all again. I'm not going to lie. I would love to see them all again.
Thank
Except for
you. Like,
Hudson. I don't have to never see
Yeah,
Hudson
we didn't see Hudson until he called her crying. JC, I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to do it. I told you not to leave me. He was a
Listen,
simp.
we don't have to see Hudson again, but we love to see everybody else again.
Everybody except for Hudson.
oh,
Hmm.
thank so much. I've had a blast, and these characters, they truly are living with me, except for Hudson.
Thank you. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Whew.
We gonna let Hudson go play in traffic.
He can go on 75 in Atlanta. He can come out here on 295 in DC. You know, he can
Oh,
go hit the freeway in LA. I'm just trying to pick all of the busiest traffic places he can
Look,
go and walk
he
in.
get on the 405 in LA.
Yeah, he can get on the 405 too. Yes, he got to go.
oh.
Whew.
I know that's right. Well, Candace, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Because I am actually we're trying to support creatives in all ways. So when I say thank y'all for joining, God bless you, good night, my Russell Simmons spiel. I'm going to close us out with a song by Villa Dom. You know the rules. Just so you guys can hear it. And Villa Dom, this one is for you. As soon as I get to it, look, that me trying to do something real fast. Here we go, you guys.
Yo, I took my pain and I turned it into fuel. I took my
One day.
lessons and I turned them into jewels. From the school of hard knocks is where I learned my rules. Yo, it's cold outside, keep it cool. You know the rules. Yo, I took my pain and I turned
It's
it into
closing.
fuel.
The internet won't
I
let
took
me
my
be great
lessons and
tonight,
I turned
y'all.
them into jewels. From the school of hard knocks is where I learned my rules.
You
Yo,
can't
it's
hear
cold
it?
outside.
I can't.
You
Did
couldn't
y'all
hear
hear?
it?
Did
Yeah,
y'all
I
hear?
heard it.
I heard it.
You heard it too? Well,
Uh-huh.
well, when did they get a chance to hear the song?
Oh, they
Okay.
just didn't want you to hear it. That's fine. That's fine.
Oh,
We
well, I'm
heard it.
glad y'all heard it then. Well, hey,
Yep.
that's okay. I already heard it, so don't blame. Look,
They said that you ain't need to hear it again. You already heard it.
I already heard it. Okay, well, I hope that you guys enjoyed that. But as I always say, I appreciate you guys for tuning in, for joining us. Thank everyone on YouTube Live, everyone on IG Live, everyone who popped in over here on Facebook Live. Of course, we will leave it posted, and it will be posted on the actual podcast, the Audible only, on tomorrow. So you guys need to hear it. If you can't see it, you will have the option to listen to it on tomorrow night. It will drop at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, Candace, thank you. And
Thank
for
you.
all of you guys that have tuned in, don't forget to get caught up. Good night.
Good night.